Hello and welcome to episode 100 and nice of Checkpoint Chat. 169 for those keeping track. Nice. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined by the nice Matthew Figuera.
Thanks. You're quite
he's
nice
not doing
yourself.
a nice now though.
Wow. Amazing. We took a week off because we just had to prepare for this very nice episode.
Yeah, I mean it was a nice weekend off. We had some nice preparations. I attended no, I'm not going to say that. I attended a wedding.
Start the nice counter. How many times will we say nice in this
Take
episode?
a shot every time we say nice.
Mm-hmm. We want to know.
Unless you're driving, don't do that.
Tweet at us.
Take a shot of your water.
At the end.
Hydrate.
You tweet at us and say, you said nice 69 times. You'll go, nice.
Oh,
then it's 70.
Fucking planned it.
Yeah.
Fucking planned it.
Like we're like 10 or 11 now, maybe more. Who knows?
I was in the land of the Cape, the sovereign nation of Cape Town. You know,
the land down under.
You just like Bioshock, you need to take a bathysphere down into the water to get to Cape Town now because they're seceded.
Sure.
They're doing all this cool shit with mutations. It's really fucking
My goodness.
Next level. Yeah, there's these like really scary bouncers that walk around with little girls there. Cape Town's changed, man. But we went to a wedding. It was really nice. It was.
Was it nice?
Oh shit! Oh no!
Nice.
But it was great. It was on the vineyards in Stellenbosch. Man, that place is beautiful. Holy crap! Who would have known?
Stellenbosch, just a stone throw away from Table Mountain if you have really big arms, but real nice.
Yeah, essentially. If you have wings and can fly, it's actually not that far.
It's down the road. It's down a long road, but it's down the road.
It blew my mind that you can still see Table Mountain from Stellenbosch. Pretty clearly.
The Cape Townians don't brag about their mountain for nothing. It's big. Okay, you can see it for miles around. Until I think if you drive out of Cape Town, you drive through Paddle. If you know a good friend and listener, Chiller, he's in Paddle. You drive through a mountain just past Paddle, and then Cape Town's gone. It really is just hidden behind or within this mountain range. Well, the road leads through that, so I like to imagine it's circled by mountains, like an open world game. Okay, if you were to run to the edges of Cape Town, there'll just be this huge mountain you can't get over. Like, oh, well, I guess it's out of the playing limit. So
you've got the low resolution Cape Town rendering in the background, like the low poly version of Cape Town.
Just make Grand Theft Cape Town and be done with it, Rockstar. Everyone's said for years now. It's always been a joke, like, oh, Grand Theft Auto South Africa, just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
it would fucking work. Yeah, like in the mountain, you have all your regions around it. Like if you look at GTA 5, what's the city there? Is it Los Santos?
I think it's Los Santos.
Whatever. But there, it's like an amalgamation of LA. So you've got like downtown, and then you drive out a little bit, and you've got like arid desert. You could do that in
exactly.
In Cape Town, you've got downtown, and then you've got Sea Point, and then you've got the desert between Cape Town and Stellenbosch, where there's fuck all there. It's great. Yeah,
you can find Paddle, right where Chiller lives.
I would love to roll around to like a vineyard or a wine farm in GTA. That'd be great. Like go get crunk at a wine farm in GTA.
Yeah, and the mini games include, but not limited to, drinking wine at wine farms. And running your own wine farm, because of course it'll be a good front for some drug deals. Your wine farm.
You see money laundering at a wine farm for your criminal empire in GTA Online. I mean, why has Rockstar not appeared at our doors yet?
Fire your writers and all your designers, because that exists. You just have to, keep your 3D effect people, your modelers, because they just need to model up Cape Town in a game. And
I want the best looking 4K grapes you've ever fucking seen.
Oh my goodness. If
that grape doesn't look real, what are we even doing here? Why even make this game at this point?
Then when we review the game in 5 years, our strapline will be, it doesn't look that grape.
Hello. Listen, we just writing the future here. This is our Nostradamus moment. It's going to happen. GTA 6 Cape Town with the best looking grapes. Grape to meet you. That will be the tagline. Yeah.
I hate everything about this right now. We went from nice to not as nice, but it's fine. It's still nice.
But yeah, Stellenbosch is good. We did the wedding thing. Didn't realize. Have you ever heard of a cake called a croquembouche? It's
I can't say I've ever been to Australia to eat that cake because it sounds Australian.
Well, it's French.
Croquembouche.
Oh, it's not made of crocodile, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I made a croquembouche.
So it's a desserts I've actually seen a bunch on like cooking shows like MasterChef. It's always one of the hard dessert challenges. And it's essentially like a pyramid, a very tall pyramid, like yeah, I don't know. Made up of individual pieces of puff pastry. So the pastry they use for eclairs. And it's filled with that eclair cream, and then it's got a hard candy on the outside.
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you, it is the most genius fucking wedding cake in the world for the reason that anyone can just go up to it and rip off one piece,
and
then that's their cake. You don't need to slice anything. You don't need to do anything fancy. They just put two of them down on the table, and they were like, here's the cake, and you go to it, you pick up a little piece, you have your coffee. Oh, man.
I thought when you started describing that, I thought it was going to be that not infamous, but that whole pyramid cake made up of like macaroons. Because that's a thing as well. I don't know what it's called. Definitely not a croquembouche.
Let me see if I can find a picture for you. You can maybe make it the episode the episode picture. Yeah, it's very good. So a lot of these pictures I'm seeing, they have like spun sugar on them. We didn't have spun sugar, but we had it's got like a hard candy on the outside that reminded me of you know, like candied apples that you get at the shop. Yeah.
Okay.
So sort of like that, but like encasing a very light pastry thing.
Good Lord. It sounds delicious.
I just pasted I pasted an image link in Discord. Ooh. But yeah, it's delicious. It was really good. And I mean, I'd seen it before, so I was like, oh, sick. We're going to have, this dessert that I've seen on TV. And then the bride, who's from France, was like, oh, no, this is the traditional wedding cake for French weddings. And I was like, oh, I had no idea. It was quite interesting.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah. It's also just like, when it comes out, people look at it. They're like, whoa, what is that? Well, maybe not in France. They're just like, oh.
Cool, they're like, oh, yes, breakfast.
Yeah, but we just looked at it. I was like, oh, my God, that is so cool. And everyone was taking photos of this cake. So I think it worked. Yeah.
Hilarious. So I just realized that your face was frozen for a portion of that because I had to click off into Discord and everything.
Oh, it's fine.
So I apologize.
Everyone loves my frozen face. It's great.
Let me just say for actual visual watchers or listeners, whatever you want to call yourself, here we go. We've got the
oh my God, we're getting
croquembouche.
Oh my God, look how beautiful that is.
Look how happy this guy is. This advert being served to me is like
Microsoft Azure developer there.
Try but eat this.
That sauce around it is like a salted caramel candy.
Do you spell this?
Croquembouche. Boucher, yeah.
Boucher.
You're definitely getting let into France with that accent.
My goodness.
Absolutely.
My
100%.
Fake French accent is
they're like, do you have COVID and are you a citizen? You'll be like, hamburger.
Hamburger.
Welcome, sir. Yeah,
do you have
welcome
COVID?
back.
I speak French. I have the COVID.
They'll be like, cool. At least you speak French, but
yeah.
2 month quarantine for you.
No, they'll be like, it's a pity about the COVID, but your French is so good, we'll just let you in. It's
yeah,
cool,
I know. Speaking French actually cures COVID. That is not medical advice. It does not. Please do not take that seriously.
This is how cults are started. In a year from now, we have the French cures COVID extremists.
Listen, the French think they can do anything, so I wouldn't put it past them. You know what else the French like? They like video games.
Oh, nice.
Especially in Lyon, where they made Deathloop.
Hold up. You know what they have in France? They have a place called Nice. How do you spell that? Nice.
Whoa! Nailed it. You know what else is nice? Video games. Whoa. Fucking nail it. I haven't kept count, so I don't know when we're going to go over, but I think we nailing it at this point. Video games. So I think the last time we spoke, I just started playing a bit of Halo Infinite's multiplayer because I think it had just come out like that week, which is kind of crazy to think that it's been out for more than 2 weeks now.
Yeah, and not only that, it was also... Oh yeah, wait, sorry, you're right. I was going to say you have spoken about it because you've played the beta, but in case we missed it, or maybe you didn't, not you, Alessandro, but in case listeners didn't know, Xbox basically shadow dropped the multiplayer components of Halo as part of their 20-year anniversary celebration. So the single player...
we didn't talk about this, because this happened after our last episode.
So the single player components, the actual campaign comes out December 11th. Is it 8th? Okay.
Yeah.
And just to celebrate, they thought, why the hell not? Everyone can play the multiplayer now, starting November.
Because it was the 20th anniversary of Xbox and Halo. Because Halo launched with the Xbox.
Yeah. So, but what I find interesting, if you go to for example, some Xbox pages, it still says that it's like in a beta period.
Yeah,
which is it's kind
weird.
of been launched, but it kind of hasn't been
announced it as
launched.
a beta. But I think that's just like giving them breathing room to like, things are a bit broken. It's still in beta. And really, the only thing that's broken is its progression system because, boy, everything else is fucking great there.
Yeah. So, tell me about Halo. You're a long-time Halo fan, and I'll tell you what my thoughts are because I have not played much Halo.
I love Halo. Like that is my shooter of choice, and it comes down to Xbox being my first console and me playing a lot of the very first Halo with a friend. We co-op that campaign multiple times. We used to play split screen a lot, like multiplayer. So, yeah, I love Halo. So, I think it's very good. I think Infinite is a step back into what used to work in its more, I won't say arcadey, but more arena shooter roots. It is still a game that prioritizes player skill over anything. It's not, you're not getting kill streaks here and there. You're not getting buffs to help you be better than the other player based on like your progression through whatever fucking levels you're doing, like a Call of Duty. It is you start with 2 weapons. There are other weapons on the map. There are pieces of equipment on the map. There are no classes. Everyone starts on the same footing, which is a change from it's 4 and 5 introduced, and I think Reach actually they introduced like classes. They were going in the way of like classes, like you would choose a like a piece of equipment that you would spawn with, be it like back in the day, sprint used to be a piece of equipment because Halo never used to have sprint. Now everyone can just sprint.
Oh my. That's weird to think.
Do you like start with shields? Do you start with like a little dodge boost thing? There was all sorts of pieces of equipment, and that's all now been relegated to pickups on the map, which I think work a lot better. But just the moment-to-moment gameplay just feels so solid. It's like it feels like Halo, like it feels like slipping into an old pair of jeans. You know exactly what it feels like, but it also feels fresh at the same time. All the gunplay feels very tight, and it's still prioritizing the sort of like I read a review written by a great critic named Jordan on GameSpot, and he broke down the combat very interestingly. He said Halo's combat is always about 2 phases. It's always about getting the person's shield down and then killing them. And those 2 phases are not like, oh, you're just shooting at the same time. It's like in the first phase, you are trying to get the shield down and likely closing down distance between someone, because in the second phase, maybe you want to melee them to kill them, or you're swapping to a different weapon as soon as their shield goes down because it's much faster than waiting for a reload. Or some weapons kill enemies who don't have shields faster than others. Some weapons bring down shields faster than others. So it's this really delicate dance of choosing the right weapon for the job, also being skillful enough to know positioning and spacing, because that is so paramount in Halo, and then just movement. Halo is all about, I mean, I think earlier this week when we were playing, you're like, I cannot believe these people just don't stand still. And it's because, the time to kill in Halo is so high that you can literally bounce and dodge during a firefight so often. Whereas in a Counter-Strike, you die
You're dead.
in a 10th of the time. Yeah, in a Call of Duty, it also feels like you die in a 10th of the time. So it's a very different type of experience. There's so many ways you can you can be engaged by an enemy first and still come out on top of that.
Exactly.
Fight.
Yeah. I think for people who don't really know Halo, the closest comparison I can think of is just Apex. Where I mean, if you play Apex, you know that it is like you mentioned, 2 phases of combat. Where the first phase is you're just trying to crack their shield, and when you do, it becomes this thing of like, oh my god, we need to close the distance immediately because they're going to try heal up. And Halo's got the same thing where if my shield cracks, I'm like, oh god, I'm going to run away and just pray that I can, either regen some shield quick enough or, drop some grenades that the person doesn't chase me. And it really is a different kind of shooter. And it takes some getting used to. I mean, as someone who's predominantly played the likes of Counter-Strike and Unreal Tournament and Quake, like these very fast-paced, insta-kill shooters. I mean, my only experience with Halo is quite literally Halo 1, which I played on PC all those years ago, 20 years ago now, because the game's 20 years old. So coming into the multiplayer, it was this big adjustment of like, I have to learn how these weapons work and, just get used to this fact that it is 2 phases. I'm not going to walk into a room and kill everyone, in a matter of seconds, unless I got the hammer, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But I will say, after a few hours of playing, I really do enjoy it. I found myself, when we're not playing, going, I hope I have some time tonight to dive into Halo to play a game or two, because I do think it's quite fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like staggered at the response to it, because I think people have been clamoring for a good multiplayer shooter, and being the end of the year, you had your staples like Call of Duty and Battlefield. And I'm not saying that no one's playing those games. That's just ridiculous. But I do feel like there is so little buzz around those two in comparison to Halo.
Yeah,
like there are so many people playing Halo. Like the other day, there was, as one does, there was someone on the server who had decided to have an open mic and didn't realize it, and he was clearly chatting to friends on Discord. So I was only hearing his side of the conversation. And he sounded like, typical kid that just plays your shooters. And the first thing he said, he's like, yeah, Call of Duty's dead. Halo's going to take its place. And it was like this kid. And I was like, if that is the sort of thing that is being circled around people's, friend groups, that is
exactly.
It fucking blows my mind, because even when Halo Infinite was like, yeah, we're going to make our multiplayer free, which is a big part of this, I think. Not getting, everyone is giving it a go and going, oh shit, I didn't expect Halo to eat Call of Duty's lunch. Halo multiplayer hasn't been that for a decade.
For a long time. And I think you mentioned some of the changes they've made to go back to, the more traditional, well, I wouldn't say traditional. It's almost, it is a modern day Halo where it just takes the best elements from past, games and then makes a it
tunes them,
tuned multiplayer experience. Like the fact that, for example, you mentioned sprinting was not a thing. I can't imagine not having a sprint in this game, because
I think Halo only introduced a sprint in Halo Reach, so it had 4 campaigns before
many games before that. Yeah. So like a subtle change like that, I think, that's a step in the right direction. But even the whole class-based thing, it feels wrong that games follow that, because, Call of Duty, the biggest shooter, over the last decade or more, that's the formula. It is the thing of, you pick a class, you grind out different weapons, etc., etc. And of course, other shooters are going to mimic that, because they want that. Maybe that's the secret ingredient to success. But like you mentioned, when Halo did it, it was a bit, hit or miss. I'm sure some people liked it, but I imagine fans like you were like, oof, this isn't the Halo I know.
Yeah, they were chasing Call of Duty for sure.
Exactly,
You would often go, oh, Halo is now Call of Duty, and it's not as good as Call of Duty. So,
but to fast forward to now, where, like you said, there's a kid or someone saying, yeah, Call of Duty is dead. That also blows my mind, because Call of Duty is the shooter. Like,
Yeah.
even on years where there are weaker entries, people will complain, say, oh, like last year was better, but Call of Duty will still have the numbers, you know.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Whether, I don't know, maybe we have the same echo chambers, but I agree with you. I'm seeing the same sentiment of very few people playing Vanguard and Battlefield 2042, and more people going, yeah, Halo Infinite is real fun. And
I mean, the numbers don't really lie. The game was like, what, hundreds? I think it reached 300,000 on Steam alone when it launched, which is like crazy to me. That's just PC. That's not even like Halo's base, you know? So yeah, I've been saying it for weeks to friends and colleagues, but like, I'm just so happy that there's this sentiment that Halo is back because it's been gone for a long time. Like, it's been here, but it's never. Halo was at one point the shooter. It was the thing that Call of Duty, Call of Duty wasn't a thing then. You had PlayStation coming out with Killzone and being like, this is our Halo killer. Like, that's what people were, comparing it to. It was the shooter to beat. And I feel like since, at least on the multiplayer front, since like Halo 3, probably Halo Reach, it hasn't been that. And even like 4 and 5, after Bungie, left Microsoft and 343 took over, they've taken a long time to find the right source. And I feel like they are hitting it on all cylinders here.
Took them many years, but yeah, the multiplayer is real good. And I'm excited for the campaign as well because a lot of previews have come out and people are digging it. And yeah, it's the only downside there. It's the thing of, I really want to play the campaign, but I'd love to play it co-op, and that's just not a thing for
it's a bit of a bummer that, even after the year delay, there's still some concessions being made. But I definitely think that the year off was worth it because the state the game was in last year, if it had released, it wouldn't have the impact that it's having now. Clearly, like it very clearly wasn't ready because they're still having issues now. So I would love to know, like, I would love there to be a documentary on like what they were planning to release.
A Jason Schreier chapter or a Daniel O'Dwyer documentary saying, just covering that year off, like before the reveal, through the year off to now of,
just like an insight. Like, I'd love to see a video of what the game was. What did it look like then? What was so wrong with it then? Or what did they identify that people didn't like,
Well, visually.
And, then obviously the very hard conversations of like going to Microsoft and being like, we know you're releasing a new fucking console this year, and Halo is meant to be the flagship launch title. We need another year. And for Microsoft to not, either the game was in such a dire state that Microsoft had no choice, or they identified that if this does not hit hard, it's done.
It's going to
like
be a
this
problem,
franchise is done.
Yeah.
So whoever made those decisions, like, good on them, because I think I can't imagine there being a better scenario for Halo's multiplayer to have launched in. Like, there are people still talking about it 2 weeks after launch, in a way that is so like, it's on Twitter all the time. There's still clips being shared of like ridiculous kills and nonsense, and just even casual players just playing. It's crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah. I mean,
there are issues with it.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
no doubt.
Only criticism that comes to mind is just, so gameplay, all of that, real good. But the progression and the seasonal stuff, real bad.
Yeah, it's not fantastic. It's so it is a free-to-play shooter, and it has a battle pass for cosmetics. Everything's cosmetic, and 343 is getting a bit of flack because they made promises pre-release that you could earn everything, through just playing, which you can. Oh, okay. So obviously you need to buy the battle pass to earn those things. But also the progression is so slow that it feels tuned to like pushing you to buy levels.
Yeah.
Like it. So when it first launched, you had daily. You had one daily challenge. It did not refresh. And then you had your weekly challenges. So it was even worse. But now your daily challenge refreshes every time you achieve it, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Or they changed something already. because essentially the only real way to get progression, to get XP towards your battle pass is through completing daily and weekly challenges. There's no win bonus for matches. There's no, you don't get a bunch of XP when you complete a match. So you're running into this situation where they're like jumping into games, completing whatever challenge they need, and then just leaving.
Yeah.
Because, there's no penalty or there's no benefit to staying out and actually trying to win that game. Which is I think one of the biggest problems they need to address. Yeah. And then on top of it, like, you have challenges that are specific to certain game modes, but your current playlists don't let you choose game modes. You've got quick play, which is just 4v4 everyone, every game
It'll
mode.
just pop you into whatever game's available, basically.
Yeah. Then you've got the big maps, which are 12v12, which are a hell of a lot of fun.
I still need to play those.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Those matches are just super fun. Really, really, really great. And then you've got the current event, like the seasonal event, which is like 4v4 Slayer, but all your weapons are randomized, which is kind of fun. So you have only those 3 playlists, but sometimes the challenge will be like, you need to get 3 wins in oddball, and you're like, I can't choose oddball, so I have to just play quick play and hope to God that I get 3 matches of oddball, and then I win those 3 matches of oddball.
Yeah, I mean,
so stuff like that just doesn't feel good.
Just in our experience, so I streamed the game twice this week, so that's basically 2 times 3-hour sessions. There was one game mode that popped up. I can't for the life remember it now, but I was like, oh, I have not played this game mode once in the first 4 hours we've played. So imagine that was my daily or my challenge, like win this game mode 3 times. Like, but it's the first time I've played it in 4 hours. Like,
you're like, is this a bug? Is this game mode not being served to
like,
me
what
ever?
is going on? But I completely agree with you. I think one of the easiest changes they could do is give you XP just for playing a match. And there are ways to do that. For example, you get, I mean, this is completely me thumb sucking, but you get 10 XP per kill. You get 5 XP per minute play. Like, there are ways to reward the player with XP just for participating in a game. But I find it very disheartening when I played, so again, streamed it twice. I leveled up once per stream. That's 3 hours per stream.
Sounds about right.
And there are 100 levels. So
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, I mean, I know if a season's going to last 3 months, like, 300, 400 hours, if you big into the game, you'll do a level 100, no problem. But it's a lot. And there's nothing more disheartening than, having this really tight game where, you win by the skin of your teeth, and then the XP thing pops up. It's like, cool, you won a game, 50 XP.
Done. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's 50 XP. I need only 950 more to reach the next level.
It doesn't motivate you to win games either.
No.
Like, I obviously, you should be going into a multiplayer game with the mentality of like, I want to have fun and maybe also win. But like, when it comes down to those clutch games or games where you just feel it slipping away and you're like, I might as well quit now and just, queue up for another match. There's no incentive to keep pushing, and, there's no penalty to prevent people from leaving like that. I do think that the game has a really good system of it loads players into games like preemptively before someone's leaving. So when someone does leave, it's not like you're running around for 30 seconds, a man down. Which in a 4v4 game would be terrible.
That's never happened to me where, I mean, maybe I haven't played enough solo, but I've never loaded into an existing game. I always start from
I've done briefly
scratch.
Every now and then. Like,
yeah, but I
don't know how they do it, but sometimes you bring up the score sheet and there's 6 people on your team, but there's 2 that are inactive because they're just waiting for it's. I think it's very clever. But I mean, progression can be tuned. I don't think that's something, especially for a live service game, that this will be. Apex launched with really terrible progression as well, and it's been tuned to hell and back to be a lot better. Fortnite's had years of doing this to perfect it. So, and this is the first time 343 has done something like this. So.
And the foundation of gameplay is solid. Like, they don't need to improve any of that.
I think that's what speaks volumes, is that Halo Infinite is still, it's still being spoken about despite its progression issues.
Exactly.
That means its gameplay is what's hooking people.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. Like, that's big. People aren't just there because they're grinding out levels and doing, the lizard brain thing. It's like, they just like, this game is so fucking good. It's so fun to play. Even though I'm not earning shit, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
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 It's good. Keen. I love it.
Yeah, I'm keen to dip in and out over the next, few months or years, however long.
I haven't been hooked by a multiplayer game like this since probably the reboot of Modern Warfare. I played a lot of that multiplayer, and I felt like I was like, oh fuck yeah, Call of Duty's back. And then Cold War and now Vanguard. Super haven't done that for me.
Yeah.
But like jumping back into Halo, like even Halo 4 and 5, I played the multiplayer bit. I played a bit of 5, and I was like, this is fun, but
it's not what you
want. It's not the like this. I've played Halo Infinite every day this week. Every evening, like for 2-3 hours. Like I should have played more Metroid. I should have played Pokemon because those are single player games I kind of want to get to. But every time I sit down to play games, I'm like, I'll play 1 or 2 matches of Halo.
Oh, Maddie's like just popped me an invite. Damn it. I guess I'll play some Halo.
It's fucking great.
It's a good
adore
time.
this game so much. And I can't. Oh, we never spoke about it, but I can't wait for the single play because of the grapple shot. That thing.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot imagine a Halo game without that anymore. Like, that thing is such a cool piece of equipment and changes the way you close down space between enemies in such a different way. Oh man, there's nothing more disheartening than being grapple shot by someone that has a gravity hammer, and you just like
you just.
Well, I hope I can kill him before he
embrace.
reaches me. Yeah, you just open it like take me to Halo Jesus.
I mean, this isn't a me saying, but I think many gamers around the world can agree that a game is at least 40% better anytime there's a grapple hook. Doesn't matter if it's a platformer, shooter. If there's a grapple hook, it's just fun. It's a fun
and the fact that it's a good feeling one. Like, it uses this sense of like physics and momentum. So I've seen people like hook on ledges, and then just before they reach it, they disengage and they just slingshot themselves. Like, it's fucking cool, man. It's so cool. Love it. And I did it once in a game that I was playing with you.
Yeah,
grapple shotting an enemy aeroplane, and then hijacking it midair and then killing them with that.
Satisfying.
I mean, you had your moments as well. You skewered a vehicle that had 3 people in it, and it fucking exploded, which was real fun.
It was amazing.
And using your sniper as a shotgun, really funny as well.
I mean, so being a Counter-Strike player, you it's all about being still and being accurate. Halo, you can run, doesn't matter. Your guns are accurate, so firing that sniper off the hip is some good fun.
I think the best bit of advice I can give anyone in Halo is there is no aim penalty for shooting from the hip, which is a big thing in every other shooter, like Call of Duty,
aim down sights, always.
Counter-Strike, everything. You can shoot from the hip, but there is a invisible aim penalty that is applying to you.
Yeah.
Halo does not have that. So you are fucking aiming down the sights only when you need to. You should be firing from the hip. And I mean, the game encourages that by, if you aim down your sights and you get hit with a bullet, it pops you out of aim. You can't stay ADS if you're taking hits. So it's like, nah, keep moving, fam. Like, do not try and snipe people while someone's shooting at you. It's not going to happen.
Flying, yeah.
Oh, what a good game. I just want to play it now again. I do not understand how you are playing it with a mouse and keyboard, though. That just seems like...
I could play with the controller, but
it seems like a crime
if I have the option for mouse and keyboard, I always take that. So I mean, if I was playing on an Xbox, I'd have no issue playing with the controller. Let me tell you, mouse and keyboard with that sniper, it's tasty.
Is it tasty?
It's delicious.
I can imagine. Sniping with the controller is still not the best thing in the world, but listen, the aim assist on controller, very very generous. Let me say that much. Feels like Halo. I say I did enjoy our games though with Kat. He in the space of an hour he went from cursing at the gravity hammer to finding multi kills with that thing.
To finding where that thing spawns and just beelining to grab
it. It was always funny watching the kill roster on the side and just see Kat like
triple kill,
hammer, and then he's like, "Fuck, I got killed." And then
they've got my hammer.
30 seconds later, it's like, hammer. He understood the meta very quickly. He's like, hide around the corner, wait for someone to run past,
smack
boom,
them,
and then wait again. Like,
I hate that.
Let me tell you, if he gets on local servers with that trick, he will have such a great time because it will actually feel good.
Yeah. I'm keen to try it. I'll definitely play more. So, yeah.
Yeah, great game. I haven't been playing much else, but I know you started on It Takes Two.
Yeah, so let me just get a little timestamp here.
That is by Haze. Is it Hazelight?
It's Hazelight. Hazelight. Before we get to that, though, just what I have been playing, a bunch of different things, which I'll talk about in future. I have started Pokemon Brilliant Diamond
Shining Pearl.
I've only played about 2-3 hours, so I haven't really sunk my teeth into it, but I will talk about that in future.
Enjoying those chibi characters.
Yeah, the chibi characters are adorable. And I've played like bits and pieces of other things over, a little 2-week break. It's actually amazing how it makes me realize how much we do play on a weekly basis, that when 2 weeks later we're talking, I'm like, oh my God, I've played so much, I've actually lost track.
I've done a lot, yeah. Like what did you stream last week?
I don't even know. Like, I've been playing Pokemon. I've been playing some Forza Horizon 5. Can confirm.
Oh yes, you have been enjoying that.
Good time. Holy shit, I'm in love with
great
that game.
Yeah.
But one thing I have been playing. Let me just pull up some footage over here.
Ooh.
Side. You mentioned. Yeah, I've been playing some It Takes Two, which is now on Game Pass. So this is, like you mentioned, a game from studio. I think it's Hazelight. Who's led by Joseph something? Stalin, not Joseph Stalin.
Definitely not Joseph Stalin. Let me get that for you.
It's basically the same studio who made another co-op game a few years ago called A Way Out. And
Joseph Fares.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Fuck the Oscars guy.
Yeah, fuck the Oscars guy. Very interesting guy. Who's got some, I'd say he's got some very creative ideas, incredible leadership, because, look, I haven't played A Way Out. I will after playing It Takes Two, but these are just co-op games, like literally built from the ground up, can only be played co-op. So It Takes Two came out, I think, like February or March earlier this year, and I've been wanting to play it for the longest time. I've got it on my Steam wish list, but it just got added to Game Pass. So here we are.
I just, before you dive into this, I have to respect the hell out of Joseph Fares, because his studio's now made 3 games. They made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which was also a co-op game, but you could play it alone. And then instead of being like, nah, we're going to leave this co-op thing in an age where, especially couch co-op is dying, he's just like, nah, we are going to be the only ones that do that. And I kind of respect that commitment. And also, I guess, EA for being like, we'll publish
backing
this.
It. Yeah. Look, it's definitely paid off, because the game came out earlier this year, and if you don't know, the Game Award nominees have obviously been shortlisted, whatever. And It Takes Two is actually in the running for Game of the Year among a host of other awards. And having put in, I'd say, 4, maybe 5 hours into it now, I can understand why, because it's interesting. So I'm playing it with Lenska, and I told her, this is a Game of the Year nominee. So after the first hour, I told her,
this is high art.
this is art. You cannot say a bad thing about this game. No, but after the first hour, I asked her, I said, can you understand why this is a Game of the Year nominee? She said, not really. It's cute and it's fun to play, but it's just it's like a platformer. And I was like, yeah, I completely hear you, but let's keep playing. And now, after 4 or 5 hours, I asked her again. I said, can you now understand why this is a Game of the Year nominee? And she said, yeah, it is really well designed. It is a lot of fun to play, and it's just captivating. So yeah, it's just to backpedal a bit. So It Takes Two is a story about 2 characters called Cody and May, who are a married couple on the verge of divorce. Literally the opening movie, you know that they're about to divorce, and their daughter overhears this conversation, and she basically has a book called The Book of Love, and she makes a wish for them to, sort out their differences and, make up and not get divorced. through some magic, they are shrunken down to take on the roles of 2 dolls she's made that resemble them. And they are just, forced onto this adventure to sort of rekindle their lost love and learn how to work together again. All those warm, fuzzy feelings of marriage and love and, commitment. And the story then proceeds to force you and your co-op partner through, it starts off with some basic platforming. You're just jumping from platform to platform, solving basic puzzles. But then as you play through the game, it gets more fantastical. Like the levels you play through are definitely, not set in the real world. It's almost like set in somebody's imagination. And it forces these very specific co-op things on you. So, for example, one level you play, one character will have a hammer, like the head of a hammer, and the other person will have a nail they can throw. And you have to work together. So the person who can throw the nail, you'll throw the nail into a wall, and then the person with the hammer can swing off it to another ledge, for example. And each level that I've played sort of functions on that, where you're both given 2 different tools and you have to use them to overcome some of the puzzles are very, very straightforward, but some very clever puzzles as well, where we've entered a room and gone like, I don't know where to go. And then you work it out and it's that good feeling of like, I get this. This is puzzle solving. I feel good about life again now.
Okay.
So if you're looking
so does each level have its own like?
It's got its own like.
You said it. Yeah, its own like spin. So this is the hammer and nail level, and the next one is the whatever level. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have footage of it, but I'm sad skipping this bit of footage because it's just gorgeous for audio listeners.
Yeah, I've just been entranced by how good this game looks.
So I'll let this play for a bit, but we're basically climbing a tree outside. And what's interesting, so I will get to the footage I wanted to show, but what's interesting is that I looked up this game before I downloaded, wondering if, maybe Lenska should download it on Game Pass as well, so we can both play on our own machines, have full screen. But I've since learned that the game forces split screen, whether you're on one screen or not. So even if you are playing...
interesting.
Yeah, so it forces the split screen perspective. And I think it's because sometimes you do need to see what the other person's doing, to help them or
that makes sense,
whatever.
yeah.
And initially I thought, it's been a long time since I've played a split screen game. Like, I'm going to miss the visual real estate. But that's obviously been kept in mind. This game is built from the ground up for co-op, and it works like perfectly. It's really, really been such a good time. But yeah, let me just see if I've got footage of... I do. So this level here, for example, you'll see that... So Lenska's playing May on the left, and she's got a gun that shoots matches. Okay. And I'm playing Cody, who has a gun that basically shoots sap. So...
Okay, so it can weigh something
exactly.
down.
The idea is like I can weigh something down, and Lenska can shoot... Or Lenska can shoot the sap to make it explode as well. So you'll see there's a barrier coming up where I can't destroy it myself. She can't destroy it herself. But if I put my sap on this barrier and she shoots it explodes. So like that's the level of co-op where it forces you to work together. It's not like I can just run ahead like by Lenska, I'm going to do this level by myself. It's like, no, we have to actually stop and think about how do we take this level on? What do we need to do to get from point A to B? And honestly, it's just been such a good time. Like the level of creativity and just the story itself as well, and how you learn to love these characters. I can see why this is a Game of the Year nominee. Like, I'd recommend it to anyone. Like, whether you... And
so the puzzle mechanics, like, would you say they're welcoming enough to someone who doesn't regularly play games? So
on that front, it's interesting because Lenska is not necessarily the most hardcore gamer.
But she plays games like she plays. She
games.
Played like what was that one? Immortals?
Phoenix Rising. One? Yeah. So there were 1 or 2 challenges that required like I suppose some good timing at platforming. But, it took a few tries, but we did it. It was a thing so that's a good example of the hammer and nail level where I stood on a platform far back and I had to shoot buttons to put platforms out, and we had to time it that she would jump, at specific times. And it took a few tries, but we eventually got it. And yeah, it is a thing of, we can't do this. Oh, damn, we did it. That feels good.
You give her like a little hug on the couch. You're like,
yeah,
we
like,
did it. It
high
took
five.
2 of us.
We've saved our marriage. Look, you don't have to be a couple to play this game. I'd recommend it for friends or couples or whoever. It's just really good, wholesome fun. And very well designed and just highly enjoyable. So
it's one of those that as well, like even throughout the year, I've seen people, get to it in their own time.
It's like more
like people are
this.
very they keep talking very vaguely about certain levels in there as like oh my god, this is crazy cool. This was such a cool design thing. And so I'm super curious to check that out. And
what you're seeing now, so obviously you've been shrunken down. We're running through the inside of a tree. But the places this game goes, you play levels that I'm like, this is incredible. It's just
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, yeah.
Well, Honey, I Shrunk the Parents, I guess.
Shrunk the Parents. Yeah, it takes
very cool. It looks great as well. I think visually it looks.
Oh yeah.
Are you playing on? You're playing on PC, obviously.
I'm playing on PC. Xbox, yeah. So if you play on PC, you do need a controller. You can't both play on keyboard. So one person plays controller, one person plays keyboard. Yeah, now Len's gonna like, how do we save this situation? Oh, I've got you, fam.
How do we save our marriage?
How do we save our marriage?
Using the beauty of tree sap.
Look at that, yeah.
The tree sap does look. Listen, that tree sap looks like honey. It makes me want to eat it. I would 100% eat it. So
it's great.
Yeah. No, it looks good. I'm glad it's on Game Pass just before the Game Awards as well. People get to give it a go because again.
It's a clever
Hazelight
move.
and Joseph Fares, I think they make cool games, but I think also the requirement for it to be co-op blocks a lot of people out.
Yeah.
And just mentally, they're like, well, I'm not going to play this.
Yeah, it sounds dumb, but it almost makes it a bit niche. Like not everyone wants to play a couch co-op or just online co-op game. But the fact that it's on Game Pass. The fact that it exists on Game Pass. And what's even smarter is like, you said just before the Game Awards, it just injects it back into the conversation. It's no longer this thing of like, oh yeah, It Takes Two came out this year. It's like, oh yeah, It Takes Two was real good. And it came out this year.
Can't wait for him to say fuck the Oscars again at the in-person Game Awards.
When you win Game of the Year. Nice.
Gonna be great. Look,
I do think this game, I don't know if it'll win Game of the Year because, that's there's some big games here, but it will definitely pick up some awards. So
I know some people were, I don't know if they were angry, but they were definitely laughing at the fact that it was nominated as Best Family Game because it's a game about divorce. It's like,
yeah, but it's about saving your marriage. Come on.
It's like, it's like a father and like a 6-year-old kid, and it's like, why are the parents fighting? Why do they want to leave each other? It's like, go play Fortnite. It's an easier conversation to have. Please just go
play
away.
Fortnite. Go play Halo Infinite. It's good.
Yeah, go play Halo Infinite.
This checkpoint chat guy said it's good. Go play Halo Infinite.
Exactly.
But they also said It Takes Two is great. Yes, but you're too young to understand.
You're too young for Take Two. When you're 18 and your mom and I are probably already divorced, then we can talk about it. But in the game, they probably saved their marriage. Go play Fortnite. So don't ask. Just go play Fortnite. God damn it.
God damn it. To me.
That's cool. It Takes Two on Game Pass for PC and Xbox. It's also on PlayStation and, if I'm not mistaken, on Switch. I think it's on Switch.
I don't think it's on Switch. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's on Switch.
Let me
somehow
check. It Takes Two is not on Switch.
No. Yeah, there would be some. I think having two some visual concessions running and all the visual concessions, would not.
I made a mistake. So Hazelight made A Way Out and It Takes Two, but Brothers was not made by Hazelight. It was done by Starbury Studios, where Joseph Fares was a director. He was also a film director before becoming a game developer. Interesting.
No, that explains fuck the Oscars very well then.
He's like, fuck them. They never gave me an Oscar. I'm going to win a game award.
Yeah, well,
my good pal Jeff Keighley is going to give me an award. Fuck the Oscars.
This does make me want to go play A Way Out because it'll obviously be a completely different kind of game. But if this is a sort of co-op shenanigans, like I'm there for it.
I remember A Way Out had this really cool thing. I never played it, but I when I was watching footage of it, it was also like a split screen thing, but you're playing as two prisoners escaping prison. And when one character's actions were more emphasized at the time, the window for that character would grow larger and larger.
Oh.
So like if a very intense like moment was happening on that screen, then that split screen portion would get bigger
nice.
to emphasize like you should be watching what's happening here. So
amazing.
I thought that was quite clever.
Yeah. Clever.
Should we bounce to game releases? Sorry, game releases, which have pretty much dried up for the year outside of.
I thought that, except that there are actually some things.
Are there some things?
Well,
we are looking at video games that are releasing between now, November 27th, and December. Can you believe it? December 3rd. Okay, yeah.
There's a few things.
So, firstly, just up in November, we've got Evil Genius 2 coming to consoles. It released on PC early this year. So, yeah, you can play a villainous island simulator.
Why do I feel like this is nominated for not Game of the Year? It was nominated for something, but it's not
probably
out?
like a best strategy thing.
Yeah, but how is it nominated when it's not out?
It's out on PC.
Okay, just coming to consoles then.
It's been out on PC, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so moving into December. War Tales Steam Early Access, December 1st. We've got Century, Age of Ashes. I assume that's a cricket thing. That has to be a cricket
thing. Anytime Ashes mentioned, it could be...
And Century.
It could be two things. It could be Jesus or cricket. You've got to...
That
Ash Wednesday.
Seems like a cricket thing. It's definitely Ash Wednesday, yes.
Century Age of Ash Wednesday. Cool, man.
Fights in Tight Spaces. This is cool. I played this in early access earlier this year.
I was actually surprised seeing it here because I thought you've spoken about this. So now it's
it's that like tile-based John Wick fighter that uses cards. So it's very cool. I think it's a really novel idea and I really enjoyed it. So I'm keen to play the full thing and jump in after a bit of, like balances to it. So yeah. Anvil Vault Breakers come to Steam Early Access and Xbox Game Preview on December 2nd.
Nice.
Got a game called Archvale, PC, Xbox One, and Switch, December 2nd. A game I'm pretty interested in, Solar Ash, by the developers of Hyperlight Drifter, coming to PC, PS4, and PS5 on December 2nd. Mecha Jammer, that sounds fun. On PC, December 2nd. Kung Fu Kickball.
The game of the year.
Coming to all the consoles on December 2nd. Chorus, that's that space shooter, arcade shooter that was announced first for PlayStation 5, but now it seems like it's coming to everything. I think that's what it is. December 3rd.
Chorus.
Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain. Okay.
Take a shot every time you read the word brain.
That's three brains in one title. That's
my goodness.
Creative choice.
It's a real big brain move. That's
coming to Switch December 3rd. Still a bit disturbed by that. Grim Dawn Definitive Edition, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, December 3rd. That's your releases. And the week after that is pretty much the last big hurrah for the year. It's Halo Infinite, it's Final Fantasy 14, Endwalker. You got smaller ones for the rest of the year, like The Gunk.
The Gunk, I can't believe that's December 16th.
So keen.
And
Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo.
What? The game. Hilarious. Okay.
Love it. Also, Alien Isolation on iOS and Android.
What? And then next year.
Love to see how that fucking works. So, yeah.
Let's not look at next year. There's too many things coming.
Next year.
Looking at you, Elden Ring.
I've already seen stuff from 2022 getting delayed to 2023, like Pragmata, Square Enix's Pragmata got delayed to 2023 already. So
when you say 2023, I'm like, damn, that's like 5 years away, but it's not.
It's like a year away. Yeah,
that's scary. Cool.
Actually, there's a bunch of 2023 games on this list, like Pragmata, Spider-Man 2, Destiny 2 Lightfall, a RoboCop game.
Sure.
And then there's just a bunch without dates, like Fable, Tunic, Frostpunk 2. Lots of good games coming. Who would have thunk that they keep making I just scrolled past Hollow Knight Silk Song here.
Rip.
Pour one out.
Pour one out.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we get to
gaming news? Gaming news.
What are we going to start with here?
I don't know. I'm like torn between the Halo news and the Activision news again.
Let's start with Halo, because
cool.
We spoke about Halo. We love Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and we can't wait to play the campaign, especially co-op, except it isn't coming until May 2022 at the earliest, which is it hurts so much because I mean, I've said a few times now, I really do want to play the campaign, but I'd love to play it co-op. But should I wait for May? No, that seems so fast. I'm probably just going to play it all by myself.
When's Halo Infinite co-op coming? It's going to be May.
Oh, why? Nice. Why are you like this? Now, so add that to the counter. Add another 2 there.
Yeah, I mean, I've played most Halo campaigns co-op. I think they're stellar when they're played co-op. They're just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer that, initially they said, oh, the co-op is coming after the first season. But when Halo Infinite's multiplayer launched, they were like, our first season is going to be longer than 3 months because, hey, December is a thing. And we don't want people working through December just as this game is launched at the end of November,
Yeah.
So, I understand it. It's just a bummer.
Yeah. But tell me, what is Forge? Because that's coming with season 3.
So Forge is a custom game mode and map maker. So people can take maps, they can edit like where vehicles spawn, where weapons spawn, if they spawn at all, and they can create like custom objectives and stuff. Forge is fucking cool.
So what you're telling me is we're going to get a new season of Red vs. Blue.
Hell yeah. That's 100% going to happen. Like, Forge I think was first introduced in Halo 3, but it's been a staple since. Like people make some great things in Forge. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked for that to launch too.
Nice. Okay, now we can get to
May 2022. Sucks, but also happy that Microsoft and 343 are like, let's not make these people work through December, especially after a year of what was likely some intense crunch.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Now we can get to the even worse news, which is, so I mean, we've been gone 2 weeks. So since then, there's been, big shocker, continued Activision drama.
I mean, just to catch you up, if you haven't heard, a report from, I think the Washington Post, if I'm not mistaken, came out basically saying that Bobby Kotick knew of all the things that was happening in the studios that they own, which is not shocking at all. Actively helped cover up incidents of sexual harassment and in some cases rape. And verbally threatened to kill one of his assistants. So
so that's the context. Now the story today is that Sony and Xbox have come out in calling Activision Blizzard, during this, as the story says, disturbing crisis. Now Nintendo have also added their voice to the fire, basically just condemning, or like, I mean, what is the actual statement here? I don't even know.
I know Microsoft said, I know Phil Spencer was quite blunt. He was like, we are actively looking at our future relationship with Activision as a publisher. And Sony was kind of saying this, Jim Ryan was kind of saying the same, which should raise red flags because Sony is like Activision's biggest customer. And then a few days later, there's a former Sony employee suing Sony because of the same sexual harassment issues that Activision is showing you. So really, the industry is just fucked, honestly.
Yeah, it's actually sad to say because I thought, I'm grateful that all of these companies are coming out saying like, this behavior, we don't condone it, X, Y, Z. But it did make me wonder, okay, you've now condemned it. Who in your ranks has suffered the same thing and who's now going to speak up going like, hold up, you can't condemn this company if I've suffered something.
It's like you can't be like, oh, this is horrible, and then you do it as well. You know what I mean?
But
It's bad.
Yeah, but just on this report, because Nintendo added their voice to the collective, Doug Bowser reportedly expressed concern over the ongoing situation at Activision Blizzard in a company-wide email, calling the allegations distressing and disturbing. He said, along with all of you, I've been following the latest developments, and the ongoing reports of sexual harassment and toxicity at the company. I find these accounts distressing and disturbing. They run counter to my values as well as Nintendo's beliefs, values, and policies. But yeah, it's
at the end of the day, like, there was speculation and calls that Bobby Kotick would be forced to step down from his shareholders. Activision is a publicly run company, and the shareholders backed him because guess what? Activision still makes a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Bobby Kotick leaving would almost certainly tank the stock price even more than what it has tanked.
Yeah.
And people are just concerned about their bottom line and not the people that empower that bottom line. I would think that, so all three platform holders coming out against Activision would be enough to shove him out the door, but the latest I saw was that he said if he can't enact change quickly, he'll step down. So it's like, I saw a very good tweet going around. It's like, what tumor says it will leave the body if it can find a cure for cancer? It's like,
okay,
what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that makes no sense.
Last thing I'll say on this story is that, it's great that they've all come out, and called Activision Blizzard out. But I think the only sort of action that will have an impact is imagine Xbox turns around and says, like, we're pulling Activision titles from our storefronts. Like, I don't think that would happen because the sad reality is that, money is money. But that would be a huge, wow, okay, they're really taking action here.
If it's like, we are not selling Call of Duty anymore.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Who will pull the trigger on that? Because the thing is, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be an Xbox or a Sony and do that, and then the other platform's like, cool.
Come play it on our platforms. Yeah,
exactly. So it would have to be a collective decision, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this is sort of what the ESA would kind of like broker, but the ESA has kind of just made a fairly fucking nothing statement about all of this, as they would. So at the end of the day, it's all just money, and this will continue happening. It's not exclusive to the games industry. It's we just see it more there, and it's equally disgusting everywhere else. And you as a customer also are in a bit of a weird situation because, like, do you boycott the games? Well, then the people who actually make the games and are passionate about actually changing the company are the ones that will lose their jobs. So I don't even know how you combat this outside of calling it out, continually bringing it to attention and making people aware of it and not dismissing it. I've seen a lot of people dismissing it, and that's the worst thing you could possibly do. So I think when we were away, we also missed the fact that Jen O'Neill, when what's his name? Jay Brack?
This dude, Jay Allen Brack,
Jay Allen Brack. When he left Blizzard, Bobby Kotick appointed Mike Ybarra, who's formerly at Microsoft, and Jen O'Neill, who was the president of Vicarious Visions, as co-leaders of Blizzard Entertainment. And at the time, they were put into that position with the exact same pay that they were, or the remuneration that they were getting in their previous roles. And 3 months down the line, and that hadn't changed. So in light of them being accused of sexism, sexual harassment, and unequal pay for women, they appointed 2 co-leaders of Blizzard and then paid the man more. And then when she left, citing that as one of the issues, they only then offered her equal pay.
Which is
so she was very critical of them during this week. Now that she's done there, and she's just like, she saw no indication of anything changing. And that's why she left. And I respect the hell out of her for that.
For making that big step. Well,
Activision, a cesspool, continues to be.
Every week we have something. Story continuously developing.
Which to me is good. It's not
not a bad thing. It's just more thing of like, there will be something every week. Like we've seen this for the last 2-3 months now.
But people should stay on them. Like fucking get them. Like do not let this go away.
Yeah. With the Game Awards coming up, I just thought it would be nice to quickly touch on the Golden Joystick Awards, which I think is this completely community voted, or is there a panel as well? I don't actually know.
I do not know.
Yeah, the long-standing award show that is decided by public vote and hands out gongs to the best of our industry. So we're just going to fly through these. I just think it's interesting to see, where the sentiment is for the year. So I'm just going to nitpick some of the best awards. So best storytelling, Life is Strange. Best multiplayer game, It Takes Two. Best audio, Resident Evil Village. And just even on those three alone, it's interesting because I think those games are nominees in, the same Game Award nominees. So will they get the awards?
Village is even nominated for Game of the Year, which is like, I enjoyed that game.
I love Village, not Game of the Year, but we'll talk about that when we get to our predictions, probably next week or the week after. Best visual design, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Let me just shoot through here. Best indie game, Death's Door.
I could get behind that.
I liked it. This I found so fascinating. Best performer, Maggie Robertson for Lady Dimitrescu, which not at all knocking her performance, but when you play Resident Evil, you realize the performance is so short-lived.
Yeah, it's very brief. I mean, she does a lot with the little that is there, but yeah.
Breakthrough Award, Housemarque, which is cool, for Returnal.
No, you got it right the first time.
PC Game of the Year, Hitman 3. Nintendo Game of the Year, Metroid Dread. Xbox Game of the Year, Psychonauts 2. PlayStation Game of the Year, Resident Evil Village.
Why didn't Ratchet & Clank win there?
Yeah,
that's confusing.
Why didn't Ratchet & Clank or Returnal win there? That blows my mind. But anyway.
That's confusing. Yeah. Okay.
Most Wanted Game, Elden Ring. I am there, 100%. Critics' Choice Awards, Deathloop. What? Ultimate Game of the Year, Resident Evil Village?
What?
Okay. Ultimate hardware of all time, PC. How does PC not win this every year purely because it's PC?
Ultimate game of all time, Dark Souls.
I mean, I like Dark Souls.
So this is what people were talking about. There was so much like discourse on Twitter about Dark Souls being named this ultimate game of all time. Like, I didn't realize this is where it came from.
Yeah, I think. Look, it's interesting because, look, I don't know what games have previously run this sort, but I can appreciate Dark Souls because that sort of kicked off. It put that genre on the map. Let's call it. I mean, Demon Souls existed, but Dark Souls is the one that got people playing. The From games, those punishing games that led to the likes of Bloodborne and Sekiro and all these other spin-off titles. Well, not spin-off titles, but games that follow the same vein. Sure, I just think this is interesting because this is completely community voted. The Game Awards, I think it's skewed differently, where a percentage of votes is determined by industry experts and insiders, and then another percentage determined by community votes. So I'm pretty sure these games will change, or maybe not. Maybe we'll see the same games in the same categories in the Game Awards. And other quick pieces of news. I'm sure this has you excited. Amazon nearing a deal for a Mass Effect TV series. And again, the best strapline.
Listen.
Tell me more.
I am hyped. Because I think a TV series is the correct format for something like this. A movie would not work. And there is so much outside of the main shepherd narrative that they could explore with this. Like Amazon and, Amazon now, I think they do The Expanse. But like they've done sci-fi political shit before. Nice. They could do it with Mass Effect, 100%. So, I mean, the deal hasn't been announced. There's just reports that it's, nearly there. So this is still years away. Think of like when Netflix announced a Witcher series and how it took almost 5 years for that to happen.
On that, next season of Witcher around the corner. Oh my.
Very soon. Yeah. Very, very keen. Shani finished watching the first season. She enjoyed it. So now we are ready for season 2. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I would watch a Mass Effect TV series. I think it would be
I should play the games one day.
So good. Oh, well, there are reports that the Legendary Edition is coming to Game Pass.
Interesting. Interesting. And then
for you to ignore again,
Last pieces of quick news. Keanu Reeves doesn't want Neo from The Matrix or John Wick in Mortal Kombat.
What a coward.
If it was up to me,
coward.
No, he says. I don't know why not. I mean, they would be... Mortal Kombat is known for putting in fun, like, nonsensical action characters into the game. So, like, we've got Rambo and Terminator. Imagine a Neo or John Wick. That would be... I just want to see the fatalities.
A John Wick, exactly, a John Wick fatality. He would like shoot out your kneecaps and then call his dog, and his dog would eat the person's face.
I love his explanation though. He says, if it is up to me, no. Mortal Kombat is awesome in so many ways, but I think, Neo, John Wick, yeah, man, they're doing their own thing. Mortal Kombat's doing their own thing. Like
it's such a non-answer.
It's like you've literally said nothing in 3 sentences.
It's almost like he's like, Mortal Kombat's a thing.
It's a
right?
thing. And John Wick and Matrix are a thing, but we're doing our own things.
I'm almost certain. I mean, I'm not blaming him for this, but like, Mortal Kombat has become this hodgepodge of like properties. Like you've got fucking Xenomorph in there, you got Terminator, you got RoboCop. Why can't John Wick and Neo be in there?
I mean, come on, give us John Wick.
Neo's fatality. He does that thing where he jumps into your body like he does.
Exactly.
And then he just explodes out of you. Mm-hmm. It's basically how he killed Agent Smith, but with blood.
Exactly. I'd be keen to see that.
Great.
Epic has acquired Harmonix to make a musical gameplay for Fortnite. No shock there. Harmonix are the dudes who, I think they were the original Guitar Hero people who then went on to do Rock Band.
Not mistaken, Harmonix.
And they've since done other things. There was another game they did.
They've done a bunch. I'm just pulling them up here.
Wow, this site does not format nicely for our little
Amplitude
window.
Is a big one that they
That's
did.
It, yeah.
So they did Guitar Hero 2, and then moved on to Rock Band.
Yeah. So this makes sense to me. I mean, Fortnite is no stranger to concerts happening within it. So
they do the Dance Central games.
They do they do. Okay. So that's their forte.
Drop Mix and Fuser as well. I did not realize there was a Lego Rock Band. That is
wow. So expect some Rock Band in Fortnite, maybe.
Yeah, listen, I mean, people are mad at this because they're like, let Harmonix make games, whatever. But like, Harmonix is struggling to make like their own games for a while now. Like, Fuser didn't hit.
Yeah.
Drop Mix definitely didn't hit.
Exactly.
And they were always. It always felt like, this was going to happen. Like they were going to be bought out, or you were going to wake up and they were closed.
Yeah.
It was going to be an either or. So like, getting one of the best like musically focused developers in the industry to come and maybe help out with your in-game concerts.
Makes sense.
That seems like a fucking great fit to me.
And it gives them some financial stability to maybe
100%.
make a game in future. Like, I don't know, in a year or 5. Like,
I mean, they're bought by Epic. So like, for now, they're working on Fortnite, but maybe in 5 years, they work on their own Epic exclusive or something like that. I mean, Fortnite's concerts, I'm not big into Fortnite at all, but those concerts are incredible. Like, watching them, I think I watched the Travis Scott one, like unbelievable production value and stuff. And now you've got someone that knows games and audio.
Does
like,
that's a good
fit to me. Yeah.
And then just last piece of news, I threw this in here because we've heard about this game a while ago. So League of Legends, that game,
Project
which is everywhere. So Riot, the creators of League of Legends, have obviously since done and announced a lot of spin-off games. So we've already seen the likes of Legends of Runeterra. I know there's another.
Didn't that just come out? There was one that just came out.
Like I get them mixed up, but point is that a while ago, I think it was in 2019, they announced, alongside all these other games, a fighting game. And that was they were just quiet about it for the longest time. And now they've actually shown some gameplay. But it's worth keeping in mind that
good.
They did show this footage and quickly said that this game's not coming out this year nor next year. It's a 2023
still a while away.
thing. But I think it's cool to see because I think given the Netflix show Arcane, which we never spoke about, I'm sure we will at some stage maybe on the show. Great show.
Yeah,
League of Legends.
I finished it last night.
Series on Netflix.
Holy shit.
Given that more people are now, into the League of Legends universe, if a MOBA is not your thing, maybe a fighting game is. So yeah, makes sense.
This looks like, just looking at the footage, it looks like I want to say Marvel vs. Capcom, but it looks like it's a 2v2
reminds me of that
thing.
as well. Yeah, because you can tag in
swapping in characters a lot. Yeah.
Which
cool, probably means I will play it for 1 hour and be like, I like how this looks, but I'm
so
bad
at
it.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see how they do, given that the fighting scene has.
Look at those juggles. You see?
Yeah.
Nah, this
they've
is
got
Marvel
it,
vs.
man.
Capcom
got some
shit.
juggles going.
I can name all these characters. You've got Echo, you've got Garrus, Doris. Sorry. You've got Ari. She was there.
She was there.
Jinx.
And that's it.
And that's all. There's only 4.
All 4 of them. But yeah, I think that is the last thing for gaming news this week.
Yes, Darius is Dak. Poor Echo's just getting fucking destroyed.
Clapped.
Yeah, absolutely wrecked.
Murdered. Sure.
Can't wait to see Heimerdinger in this game. He'll be like when they added Yoda to Soul Calibur.
Oh my god, it's this tiny character that does all of these things.
Just throws turrets down.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe his dog will be there. His
what did that
somehow
call it?
the only thing fluffier than Heimerdinger is Heimerdinger's dog.
That's true. But yeah, this game looks neat. I'm keen to see how it shapes up though. In the next 2 years.
Some good character models there. Looks really good.
It's cool. And that's gaming news.
That is gaming news. That means we have come to the nicest portion of this nice podcast. Your nice questions.
Nice.
If you want to send us questions, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. That is checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also message us on all the social platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. What is on the nice
We have a question from Oxidars_was_taken.
Love Oxygen.
Who asks, what are your thoughts on the GTA Definitive Edition remake? So it's funny because that is another game I've dipped into very briefly on the Switch. I've literally played an hour of GTA 3 and it ran fine. I can't really comment past it, but what we can say, I guess, is that the GTA Definitive Edition remake has been slated, I'd say,
lambasted
pretty much by everyone for being absolutely awful ports, which just makes me feel that I must wait for it to be patched. So not losing sleep over it.
I mean, it's even to the point where Rockstar had to be like, yeah, we're going to fix this shit. And you've got the modding scene out there on PC at least already modding the games to fix what Rockstar broke, in mods that existed for the originals.
And those originals have since been removed from storefronts, if I'm not mistaken.
And Rockstar said they're coming back. They're
really?
Re-put them on. That's how bad the situation is.
But you know who wins in this situation? Sorry to say, it's Rockstar.
Capital G Gamers.
Yeah,
Rockstar.
No, Rockstar. Because their original games come back to the stores and they sell regardless. So whether you choose to buy the definitive edition or the original, Rockstar I guess we'll bring it back and make more money. It's kind of real fucked up that they went after modders with cease and desists and legal action. They removed these games from sale. And they're like, yeah, we're making a remastered edition of the 3 highly revered games that were kind of formative to open world sandboxes, and they completely fucked it up. Yeah.
The thing I keep seeing, which blows my mind, is San Andreas had a lot of fog around it, and that was mostly to obscure low poly models around the map and loading and stuff. And now they've just removed that because obviously the hardware can run it without thinking of the aesthetic issues that presents. And it's you're flying a plane and you can just see the map chilling on this nebulous nothingness that's just there. And it's just I don't understand them, man. One of the most flush companies in the industry that can produce absolute shit like this. I just don't get it. Do not get it.
Do not get it myself. But I'd love to dip into them again, but I'm going to wait for at least a couple of months, see how that shapes up. We have a question on Twitter from Jared Brah, who says, I was in Bedford Centre briefly last week, coming from Cape Town, and knowing of the Forno's Bakery there, wanted to try them from hearing about them on the podcast. I was quite keen to try a croissant. I went there only to find that the stand seems to have closed down. Sad. My question, what game or moment in gaming can measure up to disappointment like this? I love the context. Like, wow.
That is...
Oh, man.
So, I'll be honest, I did not know there was a Forno's in Bedford Centre.
I knew there was one there. I had no idea that it had closed down.
The only one I know of is in Rosebank.
Yeah, I know of the same one in Rosebank. I don't know if that was the original.
That one's big.
There's a Forno's in Dunkeld as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very sad for you because them chocolate... I had one yesterday. I got them at work. Very good. I don't know, man. It's like crispy on the outside and then like soft and puffy on the inside with that chocolate. Real delicious. They bought cheese ones as well. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, but if you have the choice of chocolate or cheese, what do you want to choose?
Chocolate.
Yeah. So now imagine being at my office back pre-COVID when a batch arrives and there's one box of cheese and one box of chocolate. But because my hours, I start later than the rest of the company, I arrive to only cheese. I'm like,
that sounds like a you problem.
No, it's not. My office hours are 9:30 because we work with clients in the UK, whereas the rest of the company starts at 8:30 or 9.
I mean, I do know, or there's people in my office that they work with US clients, so they only come in at like 2 in the afternoon, and there are no croissants left for them.
Oh my goodness,
which really sucks.
But surely they get like a Friday supper, maybe.
No,
imagine you work.
I mean, their hours are weird because it's like Mondays are great for them because they start late on a Monday, but Fridays fucking suck because they're working into like 11 o'clock at night on a Friday evening. So it's a real weird adjustment of life. But what game measures up to that sort of disappointment? I can tell you this much. I have not felt... There are 2 moments where in games where I felt a distinct like feeling of disappointment, and they've stuck with me. The first was the first 5 hours and then nothing later of Red Dead Redemption 2. I was fucking so stoked for that game, and I just got so bored of it so quickly.
And what's the other one?
Really
I know the
me
other
out. I don't think you know the other one. Maybe you do. Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, no. What? Okay.
That game, let me tell you, again, so excited. Also, because, Assassin's Creed was coming off of a high then. They were like transitioning from the Ezio period. It was, and they were exploring one of my favorite historical periods ever, the American Revolution. And boy, that game was fucking... I think it's still probably the worst Assassin's Creed game. It's just so bad. I do not like it at all.
I thought you were going to go with, what's that Star Wars game? The one where you play as Death Star Killer.
Oh, yeah.
Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed.
Yeah, okay, the second one.
So you got a top 3.
Buying that game on a Friday, getting home at like 3 after school, and by like 8 p.m. being done with it and being like, what? Like, that was it? What? Like,
nice. Yeah, sad face. I think the only one that comes to mind for me is Evolve, where that game was previewed so well. I watched and read so many previews going like, this is... Turtle Rock Studio really onto something here. People who did Left 4 Dead making another co-op, like what's it called? Is it asymmetric multiplayer game? Cool. And then I tried it myself at an event. I was like, this is real good. And then I bought it and I played it and I thought, this is really good for like an hour. That's the thing. It was so good at events because you played it for an hour and a half. You're like, damn, I want more of that. And then when you got more, you're like... I quickly learned that the game was... Okay, we need to hunt the monster. Okay, here's the tracks. Okay, we're going to sprint around the map. Okay, there it is. Oh, it's run away. Okay, we're going to hunt the monster. There are the tracks. There. Oh, okay, we fought it for like 10 seconds. It's run away now. Did not.
And then the game and then the match is over. Yeah.
Did not.
It's a bummer. What a great concept. Great idea. Just like didn't land in execution. They are still very strong defenders of that game. I think they're wrong.
Your
But I
opinion
like
is
the
wrong.
idea and the attempt, but they're wrong. That game is
But
not good.
they redeemed themselves because Back for Blood, actually real good, except some balancing issues.
Did they?
Yeah, Back for Blood's a great game.
I did notice that Total Rock came out and said that they think that the game is too difficult. And I was like, I am almost certain that was like one of the biggest things out of beta, and you said no. And now I feel like they saw the player numbers fucking dropping off when people were like getting to the end of one of the long ass acts and dying
repeatedly.
And they were like, we need to make it easier.
Yep. They need to balance it out somehow.
There is a missing difficulty setting between regular and veteran.
100%.
Because regular is too easy and veteran is stupid.
Impossible. I don't even want to try Nightmare.
It's not fun. It's not fun. You have to play it in a way that is so boring to get past it. Like,
look, I've already put like 30 hours into the game, but I've since shelved it because I'm like, they need to fix some things.
Yeah, it's so annoying. And or just like the acts are so long. So like, getting to like the third part of an act in veteran and then one fucking mistake like just wipes out 3 hours of progress. You're just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, why would I play this?
It's hectic, man. Yeah. Next question. We have 2 questions from Miles_away. Miles Morales, kidding. Who says, are there any words? Oh, of course, this is Miles from Australia.
Oi.
Are there any words that you struggle to spell? Mine is enhancement. Commonly used word in my career, and I get it wrong all the time.
Interesting. Yeah, I misspell a lot of words all of the time because I swear to God I'm borderline dyslexic. Like, there is some shit. Like, there are some words that I'll read and I'll read it, but boy, my brain is just like, nah, fam, you can't pronounce this.
My goodness.
The word that always gets me, and I have no fucking clue why, is available.
Really?
Where does that I go? Where? Why is it where it is? I don't know. It makes sense when I read it, but my brain is just like, yeah, good luck spelling
available.
This.
So how do you often end up spelling it?
I've since gotten a bit better because I remember Zoe Hawkins of Lazy Gamer and Critical Hit Friendliness. She used to give me so much shit for misspelling it all the time. So is it Available?
Available.
Yeah. See, I used to put. I used to do Avaliable.
My goodness.
It makes no sense. Don't know why.
I think I have elements of dyslexia as well, though, because this happened earlier this week. I was busy chatting we've got a group, me, Lenska, her sister, and brother-in-law. We were busy talking about Black Friday. And I bought some stuff in the UK and sent it to them because we'll meet up at some stage. More on that soon. And then she was saying, yeah, it's smart to buy now, like, things are really well priced. And I said, don't worry, I've bought some side of this stuff too. But I wrote that out and I was like, cool, sense. And then
your brain just went ahead of you there.
Yeah, and I wrote you, I've bought some side of this stuff too. And I was like, yeah, cool, send. And then later, Lenska just laughed at me. She's like, you've bought some side of this stuff too? I was like, yeah. She's like, you've bought some side of this stuff too? I was like, yes. And I was like,
what is wrong with that?
Hang on.
Like, it's funny, your brain justifies it to you. It's like, don't worry, we got this. Just accept it. It's correct.
It's just the way it is, man.
The other one I can't do is repertoire, and I use that quite often when I'm writing reviews.
Spell check or
I always fuck it up somehow.
Yeah.
Or maneuver. Oh my god, how does that word get spelled? Fucking hell.
Man, okay.
There's an E and a U and an O in there.
Yeah, it's the English language.
It's a fucking vomit of vowels. Yeah.
So on that UK story, I bought some stuff in the UK because we were going to go to the UK in December. Let me just open up with this next question.
Listen, by the time this episode launches, shit might have changed again. Who the fuck knows?
Has Omicron fucked up any plans for you yet?
What a dumb name.
For those of you who maybe been living under a rock, there's a new strain of COVID variant, which was...
That is not from South Africa?
It was B1 point some or other thing, and it's finally received an actual Greek letter. I laughed. I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet saying,
COVID.
"Could we stop creating these COVID variants? I don't want to learn the entire Greek alphabet." I laughed. It's like, yeah, no, neither do I.
Did Nintendo name this variant? It's like new Super Mario's. Now we've got new COVID-19.
Yeah, new Super Mario Omicron. I'm like, whoa,
Oh
that sounds exciting. But yeah, a new variant called Omicron. And has it fucked up any plans for me? Why, yes, it has, because I was meant to go to the UK over December, and within the day, this variant was announced, and later that evening, the UK said, "Now, fam, add South Africa and some other countries back to that red list. We don't want them here." And then since then, there's been a few cases. There's been one in Belgium. There's been one in Israel. So I'm like, okay, this shit existed before South Africa.
You motherfuckers
clearly
knew about this shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and just because South Africa found it, it didn't originate here.
We get punished.
We get punished because our genetic scientists here are fucking top notch because of all the work they've had to do for HIV. So fuck you, rest of the world. Actually, honestly, I had no plans that are impacted, but I also get really fucking mad at people like, "What did you expect? Why did you book overseas trips?" Well, maybe because it's been like nearly 2 years and this shit has kind of calmed down a little bit and people are vaccinated and people haven't seen family in 2 years. And also, international flights require you to be vaccinated and get a COVID test. Why the fuck are you still locking us out if that is the prerequisite? Like, and what is wrong with that?
The whole why did you book flights thing? We booked these flights like quite literally a month ago when the borders opened up. I'm sorry that I didn't expect the borders to close again within like 3 months. Like,
so fucking annoying, man. It's just like, we need to get back to normality, but also never get back to normality, never make plans. Like, we got the vaccine. You've done all the things required to travel. You know what I mean? Like, you are doing it the safe way. Just let us fucking travel.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So in terms of that, I don't know what we're going to do because I don't see anything changing within the next 3 weeks. So that trip will likely just get pushed out. Or
I'm very sorry.
Something.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I have colleagues as well who've had their UK plans cancelled. It's very sad. And again, it's like, for you, you're visiting family. A colleague of mine at work is visiting family. It's like, fuckers, we haven't seen people for 2 years. It weighs down on you.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
For context, we were going to go visit Lenska's sister and, my sister and brother-in-law, who we haven't seen since we got married in March 2019.
3 years ago almost. Yeah.
Who have since had a baby who is now over a year old who we've never met.
Yeah.
So
it's fucked up, man.
Fuck me for wanting to plan a trip, right?
and then you've got people like our friend David, whose wife moved to New Zealand just before COVID even was a thing, and he still hasn't been able to move back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
They've sold their house. You know, he's been living with friends here, and they've been separated for 2 years. It's fucked up. Like, you cannot blame people for trying.
What's the most heartbreaking thing is that he just earlier this week, tweeted that there's finally like a light at the end of the tunnel. He should be seeing his wife like latest May next year, whatever the hell it was. I don't know what's changed.
My heart breaks for that dude. Honestly, it's and then we've also got Craig.
Who's also immigrated.
His wife is now in Germany, and it's him and his kids here. They were planning to join her in December. He's got an empty house because he sold everything. What the fuck does he do now?
No, it's but like you said, you know, but as funny as it is, by the time you hear those things might have changed because things change in COVID time. Things just change within a day. Like again, this was literally, you know, the variant was announced and that evening, everything was cancelled.
I have a friend here who's from South Africa. He's dating a Canadian girl. They both work on the yachts, right? And they came down here 2 weeks ago because of a friend's wedding, the wedding we spoke about at the beginning of the show, a wedding which has been rescheduled 4 times because of COVID, and they finally got it here because the bride is from France. They needed the family here. You know, everyone had a good time. Everyone was vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. And he had his flight booked back to the States for Monday. And now flights are barred. Like, what does he do? Now all of his income's fucked until the US decides that, maybe this didn't originate in South Africa. You know? Like, it's fucked up. It messes people's lives up. Like, It's not like, oh, you're missing out on a holiday. Like, fuck
it's like,
you.
no.
Like think beyond your own nose,
there's a
honestly.
holiday aspect to it, but there's more to it than that. So
yeah, there's way more to it than
but
that.
you know
people are just being like, I don't have an overseas trip cancelled. All these fucking idiots. Like, whatever. Anyway.
But anyways, let's end on a nice question. Okay, you have 30 seconds. Okay, I'm not going to read you the T's and C's. Okay. You've just met a genie that's offered you 2 wishes. You have to wish for something in 30 seconds. What are your wishes?
I wish for
if you break the T's and C's, I'll tell you.
I wish for a presunto and cheese sandwich right now. That'd be great.
Wow.
And I wish for 1,000 Bitcoin.
Oh. It's a lot of Bitcoin. Damn. Okay.
Done.
You did.
I probably could have wished for more Bitcoin, I guess.
You did good. Okay, that's within 30 seconds.
I basically wished for food and money.
Well, I was gonna say I'll do the good thing. Okay, I'll be like you. I'll wish for lots of money, just endless supplies of money, because money doesn't equal happiness. But you know what? More money would solve some of my problems.
Boy, money sure does solve stress.
It solves some stresses. Yeah. So give me lots of money. And wish number 2, could we just not have COVID? That would just be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's a great wish, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, this question was from Chilla ZA, who also said, let me read you the T's and C's. He said, you can't wish for more wishes, and you can't wish for something like, when I want it, I can have it, as that counts as more wishes. If 30 seconds pass, the genie won't offer you any wishes anymore. Sandy.
Why 2 though, not 3?
I don't know. But he ends saying, Sandy can save the wish of being able to beat me in a game. The genie can't help with unrealistic wishes. Wow. I wish for a fire extinguisher to put out the fire that Chilla just started.
Let's go play Halo.
Wow.
See, Chilla only plays games he's good at. He doesn't commit to learning a new game, so he won't come join us with Halo.
Yeah, come play Halo, Chilla. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. There's cars. You can pretend to drive like Trackmania.
I would pay money to watch you and Cello drive warthogs. Random map.
Cello driving and me on the machine gunner thing, and us just like swearing at each other.
Oh my goodness.
That'd be great. It'll be a good time. Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you for that, Cello. There was something I was going to say to that, and I've just like, my brain's just like,
I cut you off. I said 30
yeah,
seconds.
it's just,
I
would, if I had a third wish, I would wish for Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Some wishes just can't be fulfilled.
Unrealistic wishes, I guess. Sure.
2022 is the year of Hollow Knight. I'm calling it. It's going to be announced.
Listen, if COVID can't go away, at least give us Hollow Knight. Give us one win.
It'll either be announced and then released within 6 months, or it's going to be one of those things. It's just going to show up at a Nintendo Indie Direct saying like, hey, you remember Silk Song? It's out now.
I reckon that's going to be the thing, like just a direct somewhere.
And I'll drop everything. I'll call in sick to work. Got the corona.
Jesus. It's one of those games where, I get excited about games, but I get irrationally excited about some. And I'm like irrationally excited about that.
That's one of the games you're like, yeah.
And it's dangerous because, you hype it up in your head. But
listen,
boy.
That's Elden Ring for me. I'm like, Dark Souls and Breath of the Wild. It probably isn't those two.
Looks so good.
But it looks real good. So,
I was watching the Digital Foundry just like, a breakdown on it. I do hope they scale back some of their stuff, because they have like 2 modes, quality and frame rate. So the frame rate doesn't hit a consistent 60, but they keep trying to hit 4K in frame rate mode still. So I don't know why. So, and then the quality mode is native 4K, and it never hits 60, but there's no 30 frame cap. So it just like chills around like 30 and 40. So your frame pacing is all over the place. So I hope they
lock it.
They add a bit more to a bit of both of those. So
yeah. Well, let's see. I think Ratchet and Clank is a good example of having a third option where you have like the best of both. What is it called? It's because it was like quality and performance, and then performance had, quality had ray tracing 30 FPS, performance was no ray tracing 60 FPS. But then they had like some adaptive where it's like some elements of ray tracing, but the resolution gets bumped down. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like I like them.
Yeah, I think they just need to tune like whatever, probably like whatever their dynamic resolution windows are. maybe prioritizes 60 frames over like hitting a 4K. Or, those are things that they can tweak. I just hope they tweak it before launch, because From Software love their games, but they have never been a studio that prioritizes smooth gameplay, despite the fact that their games sometimes require it. So, yeah.
Try play Demon Souls on PS5 and then go to Bloodborne on
Jesus
PS4.
Christ, it's hard. Yeah.
It's
even Sekiro only got a 60 frame cap purely because the game runs in backwards compatibility with an unlocked frame rate. Like that unlocked frame rate on old consoles was garbage because it was just like 30, 40, 30, 40, and you're trying to like time something and it's just like not fucking working. So, yeah.
Just give me 60 FPS in Bloodborne and we can still be friends.
Yeah, I'd be happy. Cool. I'd be stoked.
Cool. And that's all the questions for this week.
That's all the questions. If you want to send us a question, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on all the social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Ask us a question anytime, anywhere.
Questions.
Nice questions only.
Only nice questions. And that's it.
And that's episode 169 of this nice Checkpoint Chat podcast. As always, if you've reached this far, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate all of your support. And we will be back next week with some Game Awards predictions, I think. Yeah, as we start rounding out this year.
Yeah, we'll talk, because I think we'll do that. We'll follow that with our personal game of the year episode, I'm sure. And then we call it quits for the year, maybe. Until next year. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great weekend. And we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.